Hello, I'm Cameron Minzer, and this is my book review on Flip Your Classroom, Reach Every Student in Every Class, Every Day by Jonathan Bergman and Aaron Sams. Now let's get into the title here a little bit. The flipped classroom is a newer teaching method in which the children learn new material as homework, often through a technology platform, and perform their work in class with the aid and supervision of their teachers. Now a little bit about the authors. Bergman has been a high school science teacher for over 30 years and received the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching in 2002. Sams has been teaching since the year 2000 and also received the Presidential Award for Excellence in Math and Science Teaching in 2009. I have a hopeful outlook on the flipped classroom. To me, it looks like a wonderful method and a great way to break the monotony that is the public school system. Alright now, let's get into the summary a little bit. So to be brief, both of the authors wrote this as sort of a hand guide to other teachers as a way to implement various levels of the flipped classroom throughout the U.S. They believe strongly that the flipped classroom is the way to go. However, they acknowledge that they still have a long way to go before their method is perfected. Now let's get into the analysis portion. To me, the book was quite impressive. Not only does it bring a new teaching method to the public, but it elaborates on the origins, successes, and failures that occurred along the way. The flipped mastery technique seems to be the most efficient way to implement the flipped method in a public school setting. Flip Your Classroom is a great example of how this can be done. For Bergman and Sams, this all started at Woodland Park High School in Colorado. They worked there together in the chemistry department when they devised the flipped classroom technique. What began as a way for them to save time and make things easier for themselves turned into a game-changing resource for their students. On page 3 they say, "In all honesty, we recorded our lessons out of selfishness. We were spending inordinate amounts of time reteaching lessons to students who missed class." Over the successes and failures, it seems to be that the flipped classroom is positive overall. This method keeps their attention, while the outdated traditional method is a struggle to keep students engaged. For instance, as the author states on page 20, "These students understand digital learning. To them, all we are doing is speaking their language." The only issues so far are that of any new method or technique. Teachers must work out the kinks of a program, unlike the one they have been hardwired to do. Now let's talk about the flipped mastery classroom. The flipped mastery classroom model is one where a student gets rewarded units based on proficiency in course standards rather than time spent in the classroom. This allows students to learn at their own rate from a library of lessons covering all course topics. The authors argue that, quote, "almost all students can master any content given enough time and support. When mastery learning was implemented well, studies showed that nearly 80% of all students could learn all of the important content compared to 20% taught with a traditional model." Page 51. And now let's get to the conclusion. I believe that Bergman and Sams have blazed a trail for educators, and it's our duty to explore this new frontier. In a perfect world, the K-12 public school system would be taught on a flipped mastery method, with every student leaving with adequate knowledge of the standards, and some advance even further to complete college units while still in high school. That's my book review. I hope you enjoyed.